When I got up and looked round, there was about 30 people scattered everywhere. Some of them looked dead.
This morning we're learning more about the massive explosion in Manchester, England, who police believe is responsible.
And President Trump is still on his 9-day trip overseas while he asked the media to stick around, and the message he wanted to make very clear.
A live look outside as we
so many young, beautiful, innocent people.
This Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's the UT Tower. It's a bit dark there. They need to pay their light bill over at UT. Erica Lopez joins us now with a check of our forecast. Erica, maybe it's just really cloudy out there today.
Yeah, lots of clouds out there. The last extremely cloudy day. We have sunshine in the forecast. We just have to hang on about 24 hours. As for now, at least we're quiet in terms of rain shower. Not picking up anything on radar. Earlier this morning, we did have the hill country with some showers and thunderstorms overnight. Since then, we've been on the clear side. But still, the hill country this morning, about a 40% chance of some scattered showers we could see for the viewing area. That's the start of our Tuesday. Into this afternoon, possibly some stronger storms this afternoon into the evening hours ahead of a cold front that's going to bring in some sunshine. So timing of the cold front late this evening, anywhere from 7 to about 8 a.m. Notice a north wind will be settling in right behind that, and some clear skies with sunshine by tomorrow. But keep in mind today, your rush hour forecast does include a 40% chance of showers this morning, this afternoon, a little bit better chance, and some of the storms this afternoon could be on the stronger side. Temperatures right around the 80-degree mark will be under average, so enjoy the cooler temperatures if anything. Anavid Reyes has the latest on traffic this morning. What are things looking like this morning?
Well, for the most part, the roads are pretty open and clear. We're at the top of rush hour, so this is 183 at Lamar Boulevard and 71 at FM 973. But we are monitoring a crash here near Airport Boulevard, just east of I-35. So you can see here this might cause some delays as you head out the door this morning, so just watch out for that. If you're coming in from Cedar Park, 183 southbound, 45 to Mopac, a 7-minute commute, 10 minutes, 45 to I-35. Guys, back to you.
Anavid, thanks a lot. We are following that breaking news this morning internationally out of Manchester, England this morning. A 23-year-old has been arrested now in connection with the deadly attack taking place at a concert in Manchester last night. He was taken into custody at a shopping center just moments ago. This comes hours after the explosion at the concert.
Oh my God. What's going on? What just happened?
You could hear it there, the massive explosion outside the concert hall in England, taking headlines around the world today. An explosion there after the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester happening late last night. This morning we know that 22 people were killed in the attack, nearly 60 others injured. ABC's Elizabeth Herr explains what officials overseas are now saying about the deadly attack and who they think is responsible.
Chaos and confusion sent concertgoers screaming and scrambling for the exit.
Everyone just started running, people were screaming and crying.
The Ariana Grande concert had just ended, the pop star off stage when a loud explosion rocked the arena.
Oh my God. What's going on? What just happened?
In this dash cam video, if you look to the left, you can see the flash, then hear the blast, causing pandemonium inside and outside the venue.
There's a lot of children were there without parents. There was no one to calm them down, so everybody was just screaming and crying and pushing.
When I got up and looked round, there was about 30 people scattered everywhere. Some of them looked dead.
The Manchester Arena is one of Britain's main concert and sport venues with more than 20,000 seats. Witnesses say on this night, the arena was packed with children and teenagers. Overnight, family and friends with missing loved ones flooded social media with notes and pictures pleading for help. This morning, British Prime Minister Theresa May is calling this an appalling terrorist attack, and police say they believe this was the work of a suicide bomber.
We believe the attacker was carrying an improvised explosive device which he detonated, causing this atrocity.
Well, police say right now they are still trying to determine if the attacker acted alone. As for singer Ariana Grande, she was not hurt but devastated and tweeted she is so sorry. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Washington.
Overnight, President Donald Trump sharing his thoughts on the terror attack in England during a news conference in Bethlehem.
So many young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives murdered by evil losers in life. I won't call them monsters because they would like that term. They would think that's a great name. I will call them from now on losers, because that's what they are. They're losers. And we'll have more.
President Trump also adding that the United States stands in absolute solidarity with the people of the United Kingdom.
And the president made those comments as he continues his first foreign trip since taking office. After meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday, President Trump asked reporters to stick around. He opened up about accusations that he shared classified intelligence information provided by Israeli officials during his meeting with top Russian government officials in the Oval Office.
Just so you understand, I never mentioned the word or the name Israel. Never mentioned it during that conversation. They were all saying I did. So you had to know the story wrong. Never mentioned the word Israel.
Prime Minister Netanyahu says, quote, intelligence cooperation is terrific and it's never been better, even though there have been no reports that President Trump told Russians Israel was the source of information.
6:06 now. It happening today. The Texas House could vote on a bill that would loosen rules of the state's voter ID law, but create harsh penalties for people who violate the law. KVUE's Christy Millward live at the Capitol Press this morning. The Senate approved this months ago. Now it's in the House's hands, right, Christy?
Brian, the item is on the House's emergency calendar for today after Governor Abbott put it there with less than a week of the session left. Now, Senate Bill 5 would add options for Texas voters who cannot reasonably get one of the 7 forms of ID currently required to vote, such as a driver's license, handgun license, or passport. Back in April, a federal judge said there was evidence that discrimination was at least one of the substantial or motivating factors for passing the law back in 2011, saying it can be more difficult for minorities to get the acceptable forms of identification. And just before the November elections, the judge ordered Texas to allow voters who were unable to get one of those forms of ID to show an alternate ID, like a utility bill or bank statement, and sign an affidavit saying why they can't get the other form of identification. The Texas Civil Rights Project, based here in Austin, tells us they had to run PSAs to help voters understand the confusing process.
As you get ready to vote, remember that you must show a photo ID like a Texas driver's license at the polls. If you don't have an accepted photo ID and can't reasonably get one, don't worry.
Now, under SB 5, someone could face perjury charges for a false statement or false information. It would also make it a third-degree felony, and violators could face up to 10 years behind bars. Now, the next hearing for the federal case against the existing voter ID law is scheduled for June 7th. Live at the Capitol, Christy Millward, KVUE News.
Well, more jobs are coming to the San Marcos area thanks to an expansion at the regional airport. Berry Aviation has signed a 40-year lease with the city to build a 31,000-square-foot facility to expand its growing airline fleet and staff. A state-of-the-art hangar will be built to properly store planes, and as you can see the one here on your screen, well, that's the one they have now, and it's just too small to fit all the planes. The expansion will also allow the aviation company to work on larger aircrafts.
America's oldest living World War II veteran, Richard Overton, could be released from the hospital later today. He's been battling pneumonia. This is according to our partners over at the Statesman. The 111-year-old Austinite was admitted to St. David's Medical Center on Friday with a fever. Doctors diagnosed pneumonia. Relatives say he's doing much better today. That's great news to hear.
Laredo cleaning up today after some severe weather hit that area. Officials are calling it a weather phenomenon that happens once every 50 years. 13,000 customers are without power, and it's caused a flat wind effect known as derecho. The winds ripped roofs off of homes, and it overturned cargo trailers. Crews in Laredo are expected to continue working through the night to restore electricity to the rest of the community. Now, Erica, I have family there, and they said that right away they noticed the skies just turned black. I mean, it looked very ominous, so they went inside and put their cars in the garage.
Yeah, and yet again, Laredo and southern Texas is still under a pretty decent severe weather threat, so some strong storms could be in the region yet again. Here's what's going on across the Lone Star State. Storms firing up across the Panhandle, now dying down between Austin and Dallas. We had a good amount of rain shower activity there, and still some stronger storms north of Brownsville, south of Laredo. At least they're getting a break now. But here's a look at our severe weather outlook for today. We're under a marginal risk, so it's our lesser category in terms of severe weather, but still some isolated storms could fire up this afternoon. We're calling scattered showers for this morning, but there's that slight risk that encompasses Corpus Christi, Laredo, and also Brownsville. Here's how it's going to play out for our viewing area. Temps on the cooler side. Maybe won't even hit 80 degrees for many areas across the viewing area, but a 40% chance of showers for the first half of the day. It's this afternoon where storms could be on the stronger side. We're talking possibly some small hail, possibly some strong winds. They will be very isolated, but just plan for that this afternoon in case you do get stuck under one of those stronger storms. Check out your highs today. You guys are going to love this. We'll be well under average, in some cases about 10 degrees under average. But I'll break down hour by hour how the storm chances will play out this afternoon, and also the sun that's returning in the forecast by tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Glad to see the sun again. Erica, thanks. Some exciting news here for Longhorn football fans. Upgrades to the home stadium at UT will make the video display there, the Jumbotron, Godzillatron they call it, one of the largest in the country, including more than 14,000 square feet in LED video display. They're adding that to the side of DKR Stadium there. The main video screen at the south end will be about 56 feet high and 134 feet wide. That's a big screen TV. Video display upgrades will also be made to the university's new tennis facility as well.
Imagine your big old mug like that big. I barely want to see it on something about 40 inches.
I know. The thing when you get a video board that big, like at the Cowboy Stadium, you end up watching that more than you watch the game on the field.
It looks so nice and clear.
It's so clear. Absolutely.
Then a ball just comes and hits you straight in the face and you're looking at it.
You get a big old bruise. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, she's a straight A student, but she won't be walking at graduation this year.
Why her school is denying her request, coming up.
To me, it seems like they picked it just for me.
Like they took the time.
Like they took the time.
The new fashion trend is skipping the mall and getting clothes in a box, but is it actually a good idea? We're going to break it down in our series, Is It Worth It? This week, we are taking a look at services that are being offered to see if they are really worth it. The latest trend is buying a box of new clothes, picked by your own stylist. We decided to try it out and see if it's worth it. New duds delivered to your door.
The box is fun. The box is very fun.
Paula Taylor is a Stitch Fix customer. A year in, she couldn't be happier. All it takes to get a box, a $20 styling fee. You do an online style quiz, suggest trends you'd like to try, and a stylist chooses 5 items.
To me, it seems like they picked it just for me.
Like they took the time.
Like they took the time. I know what she likes. I'm going to put this in her box.
These are all sample sizes, 2 and 4.
Now, if you're imagining Stitch Fix like a scene from The Devil Wears Prada, you would be wrong. Stylists work from home, part-time on a computer, and they choose from a variety of brands for both women and men.
Every time they send stuff, my husband's always surprised. He's like, how do they know? And I was like, well, they send you stretchy kind of jeans and stretchy dresses that can fit a lot of different people.
You get to pick how often you want a delivery and the price range per item. The cheaper the better, $50 to $100, or for big spenders, $200 plus.
That's why I set myself just for a year, because I know that if I got one every month, I'd probably keep at least 3 or 4 things every month. So,
as you can tell, Paula is sold on Stitch Fix. For her, it is absolutely worth it.
Coming up tomorrow on Daybreak, are you tired of spending time at the grocery store? Well, a new curbside pickup grocery service being offered at more and more grocery stores around the country, helping you avoid the long lines and all that shopping. But is it worth it? We'll try it out for you. Let you know tomorrow morning.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Who wants to take 2 kids to the grocery store and it's crowded? Not me,
Not
right,
me
Erica?
either. Erica, you can have all the kids.
I don't have any kids, so I'll enjoy the peace and quiet for now. Here's a live look outside. Sky view of downtown. Notice some patchy fog developing out there. We do have some dense fog in some isolated spots. I'll get to that in just a second. Temperatures are on the cool side, kind of comfortable. Dew points on the lower side also. Here's what we're talking about in terms of visibility. About 5 miles for now for Austin. Notice Llano at the 1 mile mark. When we're under a quarter of a mile or less, a dense fog advisory could be issued. So I'll keep a close eye out if those are reissued. Scattered storms possible today. Sunshine arrives by tomorrow. I bet many of you guys are excited for that. Not to mention humidity will be low. And then we're keeping an eye very, very closely on your weekend forecast for Memorial Weekend, and I'll help you plan out your outdoor plans if you want to have any of those outdoor plans. Here's a look at what we can expect for today. Lots of clouds, a small rain chance this morning, mainly for the hill country. Some scattered showers to affect your morning commute. It's this afternoon where isolated storms will pop up along a cold front that's going to push your viewing area. Forecasted highs today, I think you guys will enjoy this, will be well under average, almost 10 degrees under average for Austin. Normally we should be at about 88 degrees, but a lot of folks will stay in the lower 70s. The hill country 72, 10 degrees warmer for the eastern counties, will be in the lower 80s, but that's still under average for this time of the year. Here's how today is going to play out. Lots of clouds, some scattered on the lighter side showers for the hill country the first half of the day. Now this afternoon, notice some storms are going to be isolated, potentially on the stronger side. We're talking small hail, maybe, and also some gusty winds with those isolated storms. It's going to be ahead of a cold front that's going to push through our viewing area this evening. That's going to push all the clouds, all the rain chances out of the forecast for several days, settle in a drier air mass from the north and the west. But until then, we are under a marginal threat for some possibly stronger storms across the central and eastern counties. At least we're not under this slight risk that's in effect for southern Texas. Corpus, Brownsville, Laredo could have some stronger storms into the overnight hours. Once that cold front passes, we're fast forwarding to Wednesday. Lots of sun behind that. I think Wednesday is going to be the best day of the week. Low humidity, winds will be low, lots of sun. We're going to increase cloud coverage and increase a little bit of humidity Thursday, Friday into Saturday. Partly cloudy skies are expected for those days. And then Sunday afternoon into the overnight hours and into Monday, 30% chance of some showers. So again, Saturday this weekend, you're in the clear. It's Sunday afternoon into Monday morning where those rain shower chances will come into play. We'll keep a close eye on that as the forecast may change. It's still about a week out. Molds in the medium category. Keep up to date every single day in the Statesman with your allergy forecast. And here's what the next 7 days looks like. Enjoy that stretch of some sunshine that's headed our way. Ana V. Reyes has the latest on traffic. Any major accidents out there this morning?
Well, no major, but this is a minor accident that might slow you down this morning. This is approaching I-35 on Airport Boulevard. So this crash might slow you down. So just watch out for that as you travel in this area. Let's go ahead and talk about some drive times. Mopac southbound 45 to downtown, a 15-minute commute, 4 minutes, 22:22 to Cesar Chavez. And Ben White, I-35 to ABIA, a 5-minute commute and 10 minutes. The 130 toll road to I-35 on 290 traveling westbound. Let's go ahead and look at those cameras. Looking pretty nice and smooth. Pretty easy commute compared to yesterday. We're going to talk more Daybreak after this break.
Quick look at our school bell forecast for this morning. We're tracking some patchy fog out there, so keep that in mind, but also a small chance of some very light scattered showers this morning. This afternoon, it's when we have a 50% chance of a possible thunderstorm. 1 or 2 could be on the stronger side. Temperatures should stay under 80 degrees, though, so enjoy the under average temperatures in your forecast today. Your UV index is in the high category at 6, so even though we'll have more clouds than sun, still don't forget to protect yourself from the UV rays and lather up that sunscreen before you head out the door. I'm tracking sunshine. I'll give you all the details. It arrives very, very soon. I know you guys are excited for that, so stick around. Guys,
ready
back
for
to
them.
you.
Absolutely, Erica. Thank you. 6:25. Now there's an outpouring of support for those affected by the explosion and attack in Manchester, England. Thanks to 2 social media sites, many survivors of the attack were able to take shelter. ABC's Diane Macedo and Kendis Gibson explain how Twitter and Facebook users were able to help those affected by the attack.
In today's Tech Bites, you could say it was Manchester United.
In the wake of the Manchester concert tragedy, people turned to Twitter. Relatives and friends looking for the missing tweeted their pictures and pleas for help.
Meanwhile, local residents and hotels used Twitter as well to open their doors to those stranded in the lockdown city.
In other tech news, T-Mobile and Sprint could be ready to join forces. They're the third and fourth largest wireless carriers.
Speculation about a possible merger follows comments from executives of both companies. Could mean higher prices, though. Any merger would have to be approved by regulators.
And Apple is reportedly set to unveil a new generation of laptops next month.
A new report indicates it'll launch a brand new version of its 12-inch MacBook featuring a new processor and, get this, possibly a lower price.
Everyone likes those.
Yes, those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Still ahead, they're calling it one of the largest terror attacks to hit the UK in decades. The new information coming into our newsroom this morning. Plus, a parent's worst nightmare among a mom looking for answers after having to rush her baby to the hospital, what she says happened to him at his daycare.
This is KVUE News Daybreak.
Come back, 6:29 is your time.
President Trump in Jerusalem this morning delivering remarks. Let's listen in live for a moment.
Defend our citizens and people of the world. All civilized nations must be united in this effort. This trip is focused on that goal, bringing nations together around the goal of defeating the terrorism that threatens the world and crushing the hateful ideology that drives it so hard and seems to be driving it so fast. It is a privilege to stand here in this National Museum in the ancient city of Jerusalem to address the Israeli people and all people in the Middle East who yearn for security, prosperity, and peace. Jerusalem is a sacred city. Its beauty, splendor, and heritage are like.
All right, President Trump speaking in Bethlehem this morning. He also made mention of the tragic suicide bombing that happened yesterday in Manchester. He said that on behalf of all Americans, his thoughts and prayers are with everyone there in the UK. So again, with that story, 22 people have died and about 60 plus injured at this point.
That's right. President Trump's remarks from right now, in fact, taking place. We'll monitor that for you and bring you the very latest from his overseas trip and the latest from the United Kingdom as well. Let's get a toss now over to Erica, who's got a look at our local forecast. Erica.
Well, guys, some dense fog is now out there. Live look downtown. You can hardly see anything. That's how quickly this fog has came into play. If you're heading out the doors, be very careful. Give yourself extra time on the roadways this morning. We're seeing that patchy fog through a lot of places across the viewing area. That's because of a rather sustained calm wind at only 3 miles an hour right now. Dew points still very close to the temperature, so our atmosphere is saturated. That helps enhance that fog factor that we're seeing this morning. Georgetown under 1 mile visibility, so if you're commuting this morning possibly from Georgetown, Round Rock to downtown, keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. Here's how today's going to play out. We're talking rain shower chances increasing 40 to 50% chance. A possible strong storm this afternoon. We'll keep you up to date on that. Keeping us up to date on traffic this morning is Anna V. Reyes. How are things shaping up this morning?
Good morning. Well, this is a look at Austin, the metro area. But let's go ahead and travel a little bit northbound. There is a wreck here that we are watching, Wells Branch Parkway on the service road at 535 traveling southbound. There is reports of a car driving into a ditch. So with all of this fog, guys, please be careful. Turn on your headlights and be safe driving out there. Mopac southbound 45 to downtown, 15-minute commute, 4 minutes, 2222 to Cesar Chavez. Guys, back to you.
Annabelle, thank you. We are following that breaking international news this morning out of Manchester, England. A 23-year-old has been arrested in connection to the deadly terror attack that took place last night. He was taken into custody near a shopping center about 30 minutes ago. This comes hours after the explosion at the Ariana Grande concert. Overnight officials confirming 22 people were killed in the attack. Nearly 60 others were injured. The concert had just ended, in fact, when the loud explosion rocked that arena in Manchester. This morning, police say they believe this was the work of a suicide bomber.
There's a lot of children were there without parents. There was no one to calm them down, so everybody was just screaming and crying and pushing.
When I got up and looked round, there was about 30 people scattered everywhere. Some of them looked dead.
Officials say children are among those that were killed in the blast. Right now, police believe one man carried out the attack. They are trying to figure out again if he was working alone or as part of a network. No one has claimed responsibility as of this morning. We will continue to cover the incident throughout the day here on air and online at KVUE.com.
President Trump's proposal for fiscal year 2018, called a new foundation for American greatness, is set to be delivered to Capitol Hill this morning. The first budget proposal to Congress includes $1.7 trillion in mandatory spending cuts over 10 years, including $800 billion from Medicaid. The proposal also includes a boost to military spending and $1 billion for construction of a border on all the U.S.-Mexican border, a border wall, I should say. President Trump's first budget blueprint is expected to be dead on arrival in the House and Senate. Senator John Cornyn tweeted out saying, quote, all POTUS budgets are.
Former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn says he will ignore a subpoena from the Senate Intelligence Committee that's investigating the Trump campaign's possible ties to Russia. General Flynn said he will plead the Fifth and will provide no documents. Earlier this year, he volunteered to testify, but only in exchange for immunity. This morning, an Atlanta mom wants answers after she picked her son up from daycare and found a golf ball-sized knot on the side of his head. Take a look. Camilla Jackson says she picked up her son, Hunter, after work, rushed him to the hospital. Look at that. She said daycare workers told her they didn't notice the knot. They didn't find out about it until she arrived, they said.
I was in tears on the way to the hospital, and then when the doctors told me that his skull was fractured, I broke down. I was very, very upset.
Just terrible. Hunter was almost a year old at the time. He's healing now, wearing a foam helmet to protect his skull as it heals. That daycare has been cited at least 17 times since last year. By the way, they're closing later this month. A straight-A student says her Christian high school will not let her walk across the stage at her graduation because she's pregnant. Maddie Runkles of Maryland is expecting a baby boy this September. She has a 4.0 GPA, but the school suspended her for 2 days, removed her from student council because of the pregnancy. Now they've said she can't walk the stage, citing a code of conduct. She feels she's being punished because she chose not to have an abortion.
A lot of disappointment because I had worked so hard for that, and I made one mistake and all my hard work was being taken away from me.
Now, Maddie plans on finishing high school with the best grades possible, then enrolling in online courses for college. She's hoping the school will change its mind before the graduation, which is on June 2nd.
Well, if you have little ones, listen up. The American Academy of Pediatrics says kids under the age of 1 should not drink fruit juice. They previously said no juice under 6 months old. The concern is all that sugar. They say juice offers no real nutritional benefits. This change is made due to a rise in child obesity rates and dental issues.
Happening right now, 2 NASA astronauts venturing out of the International Space Station. They began around 5:30. Peggy Whitson and Jack Fisher will repair a computer relay box that failed over the weekend on the International Space Station. NASA says the crew on the station is not in any danger because of this failure, but they have to get it fixed. The spacewalk is expected to take about 2.5 hours. In the United States, someone suffers a concussion every 15 seconds, and these injuries don't just happen to people who play sports.
2 Austin women have teamed up to provide support and information to the millions who have suffered. KVUE's Jay Wallace spoke with these 2 women and is here to explain how it all started. Jay.
Yeah, well, one thing you have to know about concussions is it can take, a different amount of time to recover depending on the person and the severity. Each case is different, and so with this recovery, it can require a few weeks, maybe months, even possibly years. And in some cases, it can change entire aspects of your personality.
Lisa Webb grew up thinking numbers first, analytical, methodical, and logical.
I was type A, driven, self-employed for 30 years.
But 2 years ago, while moving the trash bin on the driveway at her mom's house, a slip changed Webb's mind.
Literally flipped me in the air and I landed on this part of my head on concrete driveway.
Webb suffered a concussion, which severely affected her
7-1-A3.
for months afterwards.
My brain felt like it was up here. It didn't feel like it was in my head any longer.
Left with disjointed thoughts, as well as unable to drive and be in certain situations with too much light or sound, she gained something unexpected. One morning after waking up in her bed,
I see these incredible abstract visions, and I'm like, whoa, what is that? Then it slid away like a slideshow, and another one just comes up like it's doing a presentation.
this bizarre vision inspired Webb to run downstairs and try to draw what she just experienced.
I had never done art or had an art class in my life.
This business-driven woman suddenly became obsessed with art. She had changed.
Now what I really want to do is just paint, paint, paint.
And she's not alone. Many concussion survivors can start to see things in a new light.
If a part of the brain is removed or injured, most specifically the anterior temporal lobe, there can be a window of artistic ability that opens.
So Webb teamed up with longtime friend and now business associate Alicia Ball.
We decided that we wanted to create a site to give back to people.
These two have decided to create a website, concussionsurvival.com.
From survivors to survivors.
To provide a place for people to go to for information on how to recover from a concussion and hear from others about their stories, like Webb and Ball. So for Webb, this businesswoman turned artist now paints every day, excited to figure out her new self while never forgetting the person she once was.
You're actually grieving who you were because you're becoming a different person.
Now this website they've created, it offers support for survivors and their families, as well as busting myths and misconceptions about concussions and what can cause them. And it also uses softer colors that are easier for someone who has sustained a concussion to look at. So just a very crazy situation, and you know, for her it's art. For other people, when I was talking to the neuropsychologist, it can be music, it can be playing an instrument, it can be all different types of art can suddenly, you can have that desire.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow. The brain, they know so little about overall what our brains are able to do. It's amazing.
Wouldn't that be great? All of a sudden you can play an instrument.
It's bizarre.
All of a sudden there's Brian with a piccolo.
Yeah, because the piccolo, really, you couldn't go with a tuba or maybe a baritone.
A little piccolo.
A piccolo, huh? Well, that's okay. I like the piccolo. Great story nonetheless, Jay.
Awesome, awesome. I loved it.
They tooted on over to Erica here for a look at our forecast. Hey, Erica.
You can see Brian playing the piccolo.
Sorry, I'm thinking Anchorman. Doesn't he play the piccolo?
Yeah, he does, actually.
Well, live look outside downtown right now. Some fog is developing, patchy fog for not only Travis County, but a couple of other counties out there. This is a live look downtown outside. Give yourself extra time as you're heading out the roadways. The dew points are so close to the temperatures. That's why this patchy fog settling in. And winds are rather calm, only at 3 miles an hour right now. So check out your visibility just north of Austin in Georgetown, Williamson County. We're talking about a half a mile. If this fog does continue, less than a quarter of a mile is when they issue a dense fog advisory. So I'll keep a close eye on that if any dense fog advisories are issued. But as far as your rush hour forecast, it's just the fog and possibly some patchy drizzle you could run into, mainly for the hill country. This afternoon, we have a 50% chance of some maybe possibly strong storms out there ahead of a cold front that's going to approach to our viewing areas. So this cold front's going to spark up storms, but also bring in some sunshine. I'm going to give you all the details coming up in the full forecast. Guys, back to you.
Erica, thanks a lot. The season came to an end for the Spurs and that guy Manu Ginobili last night in San Antonio. Spurs just couldn't overcome all their injuries in the postseason. Golden State finished off the four-game sweep, 129-115 the final last night. Steph Curry had 36. Kevin Durant added 29. Golden State, get this, they're 12-0 in the playoffs so far, the first team to win their first 12 in the playoffs ever. Golden State will face either Cleveland or Boston in the finals. Cavs lead that series 2-1, Game 4 tonight in Cleveland.
Another Austin officer exposed to carbon monoxide while riding in his patrol car.
The second time this has happened since March, what officials say helped get that officer out unharmed.
Welcome back. 6:45 is your time. Here are some of today's top stories.
A bill aiming to make sure schools across the state are prepared for emergencies is headed back to the state Senate. The House passed Senate Bill 2078 yesterday. An amendment added to the measure says schools also need to have single occupancy bathrooms for students who don't want to use facilities designated by their biological sex. The bill now heads back to the Senate, where the original author can accept the House changes or reject them.
President Trump arrived in Bethlehem overnight, where he continues on his fourth day of his first foreign trip since taking office. He met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Yesterday, he opened up about accusations that he shared classified intelligence information provided by Israeli officials during his meeting with top Russian government officials in the Oval Office. He told them he never named Israel as the source. And this morning, we are learning of another Austin police officer who may have been exposed to carbon monoxide while driving his patrol car. APD officials say this happened last week, but the officer in this case was not harmed. The officer was on duty at the time, driving a marked Ford Explorer. His carbon monoxide detector went off, and he turned his car in to get tested. Officials say the alarm may have saved the officer from getting sick. The department has been installing these detectors over the past couple of months since one of their officers was sickened by poisonous gases apparently leaking into his patrol car back in March. That officer became seriously ill. He remains off the force for now and is still recovering.
Students at 2 Waco area schools will return to classes today after a mumps scare. Waco ISD officials disinfected a high school and an elementary school back on Monday. Officials have confirmed one case of the mumps. They say another student may have been exposed to the virus. Mumps is contagious, could lead to fever, headache, and muscle aches. Infected people who don't show any symptoms can still transmit the virus.
Well, if love is on your mind after watching The Bachelorette last night, oh, Brian, listen up. Getting dating advice from some of the ladies who know it best. Grandmothers, our sister station in Dallas, went to a senior living community to find some words of wisdom.
Be judgmental of the person before you get to know them. And expect yourself to behave as a lady. Respect yourself, and he will respect you.
When it comes to those first phone calls,
I would expect him to call me. If he didn't, obviously there's no point in going on.
I don't even know if they go out on dates. They just text each other.
And what do you think about that? That's bad?
No, it's more fun to be up close, not texting.
She wants to snuggle, right?
Like
she wants to be up close. I love it. Great advice. And many young women may be asking themselves why they haven't found love yet. But these ladies say you shouldn't worry if it hasn't happened yet. Something great could be just around the corner. Sometimes the simplest advice is the soundest advice, I think.
Good advice there. The texting. I'm glad that wasn't around.
Yeah.
Texting and Snapchat and all that
there's too many distractions.
Whew.
Yeah, Erica's
it's
like,
a tough life, let me tell you.
Yeah, you young whippersnappers.
You use whippersnapper.
I don't know what that app is.
It's an app. I'll show it to you later. It's a totally weird.
Try to act cool, like he knows apps. Well, let's talk about your weather forecast this morning. For all you whippersnappers out there, keeping an eye on the patchy fog that's accumulating here across Travis County and also Williamson County. We have some areas of dense fog to talk about. 65 is the dew point. It's close to the temperature. That's why that's developing also with a rather calm wind at about 3 miles an hour. So Georgetown getting close to that dense fog advisory mark. I'll keep an eye out if any of those dense fog advisories are issued, but keep in mind low visibility, especially if you're traveling this morning from Georgetown, Round Rock into downtown. This morning, you're going to have some dense fog out there. Scattered storms is what we're tracking today. Sunny but drier as a cold front passes. That's going to give us some sunshine starting tomorrow. And then also keeping an eye on some rain chances for this Memorial Day. I'll get to that in just 1 second here. So the first half of the day, we could have some spotty sprinkles, mainly in the hill country. It's the second half of the day where stronger storms are possible this afternoon. As that cold front gets closer to our viewing area, we'll have isolated, stronger storms that could fire up maybe some strong winds, maybe some small hail out there this afternoon. So very light chance of some spotty showers this morning, but here we are into the afternoon and evening hours. This is our best chance of possibly a rumble of thunder. And again, some of these storms could be on the stronger side. It's all ahead of a cold front that's going to push through us later tonight. bring in a dry north wind and also clear out all the moisture, clear out the cloud coverage. We're talking a mostly sunny Wednesday in store. We don't want to redo Monday anymore. And as for today, just a marginal risk. So at least our severe weather threat is on the lighter side. South of us, Corpus, Laredo, Brownsville, they're in a slight risk for severe weather. So once that cold front pushes through us, lots of sunshine in store for Wednesday. Increased cloud coverage Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but still no rain chances. That's a pretty decent stretch of no rain chances. Memorial weekend, the start to it, it'll be clear on Saturday, but Sunday, that's when we're talking a 30% chance of a possible storm. Sunday night into Monday morning, still keeping in on that 30% chance of some storms. So a lot to talk about in terms of the next several days. We're going to be in a little bit of a roller coaster ride weather-wise, but as for now, mold will be on the medium side. Thanks to the lower humidity levels, you can keep up to date every single day in the Statesman. Here's the next 7 days, what we're tracking. So after today, we'll get a decent break. It's Sunday and Monday this Memorial weekend where things could get a little bit on the wet side. NV Days has the latest in terms of traffic. Any accidents to talk about this morning?
Yes, take a look at this, and your forecast is absolutely right. Look at this dense fog, guys. This is a look at I-35 at Wells Branch Parkway, where you can see that there is a car that drove into a ditch. APD is on the scene investigating, so definitely keep an eye out, guys, as you're driving. Make sure your headlights are on and you're driving safely. This is a closer look on the map as to where it is relatively. This is Wells Branch at the I-35 service road traveling southbound, so just watch out for that as you hit the roads this morning. Mopac southbound 45 to downtown, an 18-minute commute, 4 minutes, 2222 to Cesar Chavez. Guys, back to you.
Annavi, thank you. Check this out. A sign of success for the Naval Academy's freshman class. Students working together to climb a greased monument there to mark the end of what's known as the plebe year. Following a decades-old tradition, students had to put a Dixie cup hat on top of the monument there. You see the young man just trying to get it up there, and he gets it. They're doing this while being sprayed with hoses as well. It took 2 hours and 21 minutes for this freshman class to complete the task. Now they stopped doing this climb with added grease in 2014. It only took the students 3 minutes to climb back then, so officials brought the grease back the very next year. We'll be right back.
We're following breaking news out of Manchester this morning. We just learned moments ago that ISIS has now claimed responsibility for the attack in Manchester.
A 23-year-old was arrested this morning in connection to the massive explosion that killed 22 people and left nearly 60 others injured at that concert last night. Another man also arrested at a shopping center in Manchester, England, but officials say they do not believe that second person had anything to do with the attack.
Again, keep it to KVUE online and on air to get the very latest on what's transpiring in the UK.
Well, lots of fog out there, guys. This is a live look at I-35 at Wells Branch Parkway. You can see there APD is on the scene. There's a car in a ditch. And so this is exactly where it is on your map, Wells Branch Parkway, I-35 service road on the service bound. So if you're out there traveling in that area, use caution and watch out for this as you hit the roads. Erica?
Rain chances in the forecast this afternoon. A possible strong storm. There's going to be a cold front that pushes through this evening. But notice what it's going to do for Wednesday. Wednesday, the best day of the week. Plan your outdoor activities now. It's going to be nice, cool, comfortable. And then the 90s return by Thursday. So be prepared for the warming trend. This weekend, Memorial Day weekend, any outdoor plans? Saturday's looking great. May just be a little bit on the humid side. Sunday and Monday, a small chance of storms. We're tracking a cold front pushing through Sunday night.
A nice view here on the north side of the Capitol. You can see, we normally don't get this vantage point, do we?
Very nice. Have a great day.